YouTube! Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be reacting to This is the Funniest Animal on Earth. This is from Casual Geographic. If you don't know who Casual Geographic is, find the link down below. Go support his own channel as well. He makes some banger videos and we freaking love them here. Anyways, we will be seeing what the funniest animal on Earth is, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's dive in. Up slightly.
Show me someone who's never seen this with their eyes, and I'll show you a child that got left behind. The school system's failing, and this is proof. Did you know
It's
that
like a
average kid in America doesn't know
balloon.
about this harmonizing homunculus? Arguably one of the greatest gifts nature ever gave. Yet they remain disrespected and unaccepted. Well, not today. Someone has to stand up for this comic relief, rough draft, auditory onslaught of a primate, and you already know I will. I mean, that's a given. You're probably familiar with the great apes, but in case you're not, they include gorillas, chimps, bonobos, i.e. chimps with a different R rating, and this guy.
The orangutan!
Together, along with humans, they make
I'm not gonna lie, I love me a good orange orangutan. I think they're one of my favorite. I guess they're an ape, so I guess they're my favorite ape in the club.
Great Ape Group. Great Ape. The name only an ape could come up with. But along the way, someone got snubbed, and this is actually live footage of it happening.
He looks like he would be
apes.
big enough to contest in like the big boy crew, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Which I'm rocking with Mark, because Mark is rocking with us.
Yeah,
Oh my
gibbons got
gosh.
gatekept from the great ape lunch table. Science says it's because of their
Look at him
relatively smaller
go.
size, lower intelligence. Ouch. And real talk, I think they're just too goofy for the other apes to want to be associated. But being tailless means gibbons aren't monkeys either, and instead got classified as
I didn't even chat. Please don't tell me I'm the only one that realized. Did you guys realize that he was tailless this whole time? Did that like occur? Did you guys realize that
lesser
too?
apes. That's already flagrantly flippant, but there's
Oh my
about 20
gosh.
species of lesser apes. They're all gibbons. Apparently, this drunk toddler of an ape was such an affront to the family, folks created an entirely new category to put them in and slap them with the lesser label. Well, I'm gonna argue this tiger taunting, vocal cord flaunting, terminally
Tiger
trolling,
taunting?
usually barrel rolling primate might just be the prime ape. Now, to be fair, gibbons are that one weird kid in class.
So he's
They're
just
the
like a
missing
little
link between
silly
apes
guy.
and
That's
monkeys,
what I'm
but if
hearing.
evolution went on a side quest. Gibbons break a lot of the rules of being an ape. They have low sexual dimorphism, meaning the males and females are about the same
Gibbons?
size. They don't build nests to sleep. They put in about as much effort as pigeons. They're monogamous, allegedly. We'll
You
get to
ever
that.
see the videos where they put like 3 sticks together and they're like, yeah, my nest is perfect now. I
And they
freaking love
basically
them. They're
spend their
so
entire
silly.
lives in the trees. Could have sworn they let the orang slide for that, but that's none of my business. They're also anatomical anomalies with a wingspan worthy of an
Look
infringement
at
lawsuit from
that!
Go Gadget. We call them lesser, but let's be glad they're still alive. Because uncovering a fossil that could jump
Oh
rope its
my
own skeleton, that
gosh!
Jumanji junk would have put us in another pandemic. You
Their
don't realize
armors are
how
like the
long a
length of
gibbon's
their
arms are
body.
until, well, one, you get slapped by one, but also until you put them next to a person for scale. But having joints longer than a prohibition for Peter Griffin is great for one thing, and it's kind of the thing gibbons are known for. Like I said, gibbons are completely arboreal, and there's actually a name for how they get from A to B.
Look at them
Brachiate.
chill.
Calling it monkey bars is an insult. If you did this as a kid, you were on gibbon timing. These branch-loving acrobats are the fastest things in the trees without wings. At 35 miles per hour, the tree goblin can
Bro, like, they just have a little cup of like their claws or whatever you call them, and they're swinging in the tree.
brachiate fast enough to get pulled over in a school zone. And they'll yeet themselves up to 30
Holy-
feet between trees.
Excuse
Forget a
me?
leap of faith, that's a leap of fortune.
No.
Specialized shoulders and wrists allow them to
No.
treat the jungle as their personal gym. It also helps that they're built like a CrossFit cryptid with the longest arms of any ape.
He's
If
just
the average
chilling.
5'4" woman adopted its build, she'd flex a 10'7" wingspan. And if you lived like one, you'd be parkouring off the cables of the
Oh
Brooklyn
my
Bridge.
god.
But
I
they're
can't
not free
believe
from fall
I still can't get over the fact that they just like fling themselves up to 30 feet. That part is like wild.
damage, and it's estimated most gibbons break a bone at some point in their lives. Gets even crazier when you realize mothers will pull these stunts with a whole baby in tow. And speaking of babies, you know how we always say animals
Oh my
use
God,
play
look
as
at the
preparation for the
baby.
life they'll live? Baby gibbons will not only learn to brachiate by chasing each other through the trees, they'll also intentionally let go of branches to catch themselves. But what even makes
I
gibbons
feel
play a
like
lifelong game of
wait, I
Floyd's
feel like
Law?
this species is like testing Mother Nature every day. I just feel like it's
orangutans,
testing
they
the
realize
limits.
it's way safer to have your ops be gravity and time than touch tiger country downstairs and get murked by a feline. Because gibbons would rather run away than run Huh?
What?
Gibbons are actually extremely territorial, and that, along with them having a 99 agility stat, is how you get the
You
only
imagine
animal
playing
alive
around
that
with
can
a
vibe check a
tiger.
tiger and live to do it twice. Technically, it's mobbing behavior meant to drive away a
Look
predator
at
using
it.
the power of parkour, but the execution makes them move like Spider-Man minus morale. morale. They're morale-less, but the only miles is how far they can drive a
literally
strike
taunting the tiger.
Show me a great ape that can taunt a tiger. Many have tried. Most have died. A whole apex predator and twig ninja just ear pulled them.
Oh
like
my god. Ear pulling, tail pulling.
Gibbons have also been recorded harassing clouded leopards getting too close, although I'm pretty sure
Another
that one was
one?
trying to sleep and got hit with the long arm of audacity. Because if you think they only use their powers for protection, Gibbons are the most unapologetic trolls in the animal kingdom. We told them they're the great ape's little brother, and now they done made it their personality. No other way to explain this. Porcupines
They
are
must
better
love
protected against
like
lions
nah.
than
They must
versus a
love
tree-happy
the what is it called? The cat and mouse game. They have to love the cat and mouse
Even
game.
the so-called great ape can
They
end up
love-
looking
they
pretty
gotta.
stupid around a lesser. Gibbons are an impulsive thought come to life. They don't think it, they just do it. Fun fact, this is the Memphis Zoo. That's
They're
Ringo,
cute.
and they even warn you to stay off the glass because he'll literally injure himself trying to jump scare you. You know nature made you crack, but you're the only mammal
my
alive that can go
gosh.
band for band with a cat. With zero regard for feline rights, you've never seen a cat this outmatched.
Zero
And they'll
regard
easily
for
play
feline
Matador over a
rights.
dog. I love it because there's no scientific reason for them to be like this other than Gibbons are all about the dickery, except with mice. You know,
I
put a
love
mouse
that.
in front of them and things suddenly stop being funny. But with arms like that,
Nah. Chat. How is he scared of a mouse, but he taunts the tiger?
we'll
How?
always keep it humorous. But there is one animal that forms the most unlikely friendship with them. Or maybe not. Because on paper, gibbons and orangutans actually have a lot in
Like,
common.
let's
They live in
go.
the same area code, they're both
Look at
for the trees,
them.
and orangutan actually translates to man of the forest. At the same time, some, like the hula
Orangutan
gibbon,
seems
have
to
been
be just so
affectionately
much more
nicknamed the
chill
little
than
man
him,
of the
though.
forest. But their personalities are so opposite, they
Yeah,
honestly belong in a
okay,
buddy
yeah. I was like,
Gibbons
I
are
can't be the only
hyper-athletic,
one.
flyweight, and the fastest moving animals in the trees. Orangs are the largest, the mascots of stoicism, and yo, I swear they could talk, they just don't want to deal with taxes. Polar opposites, yet time and time again, wild gibbons and orangutans
Imagine
have been
an
caught
orangutan
playing
just
with each
starts
other.
talking
I like to
to
think
you.
the fact that they don't compete for the same foods means they don't really have a reason to have beef, and a lot of zoos will actually assign them together as roommates. Another reason orangutans are chill like that. If gibbons suddenly get accepted into the Great Ape Club,
Oh my
I think you know
gosh.
who pulled the strings for that.
Look at it.
And you
Look
think
at the
orangs would find
orangutan's
ascension
face
sugar rush
there.
annoying, and that gibbons might find Bigfoot's understudy intimidating. But not only do they play with
Bigfoot's
each other, they
understudy?
even trust each other with their own children. Orangs have quite the obsession with
That's
baby gibbons, and
massive.
gibbons really be rocking with
I love when animal, like, I don't know, animal subclasses, animal species always do like heartwarming things like
an
this.
infant Cheeto ape. There's even one gibbon in the Brookfield Zoo that'll leave his enclosure just to visit the orangutans next door. But there's at least one
Aww.
other ape gibbons bond with. In some places, wild gibbons will actually become habituated with humans to the point where they'll regularly drop by and groom their favorites. Galia was a hula gibbon who was famous because every day, she'd come down from the trees, hobble over to
my
the locals, and
gosh.
provide a free hour-long salon service, starting with Bupeshwar Ningda, the man who protected her as an orphan. It hits different
But
when
they
you realize
know, like,
grooming
they
is how
definitely
gibbons reinforce
know.
social bonds in a family. Now, it is bittersweet since it likely took her
That looks
entire
like
actual
Bigfoot.
family getting put on a shirt for her to get to that
Oh
point.
my
and we'll get back
gosh.
to that. But I'd say that's pretty
Her
damn
poor
great
family.
for a lesser ape.
So wait,
Even
no,
dogs aren't
wait. I guess he's gonna get back to it, but if she's orphaned, then like that's all she
immune to a
knows.
given act of goodwill. And now
Look
that
at
you're
that
familiar
dog
with
living
them,
its
I think we can
life.
go ahead and meet all the types of gibbons.
I can't get
Or-
over
or
the length
as
of
many
their
as my
arms.
attention span will allow.
I cannot,
This
like,
is
I'm
a
sorry.
Siamang. They're the heavyweights of the gibbons at a whopping 30 pounds. They're the ones with that throat
Siamang.
squirrel, or as I like to call it, the chesticle. It's a pouch that works like an amplifier to broadcast their call. And clearly nature had an off day when it spawned a frog monkey that looks like one of Ben's 10. As much as I like them,
That's
this would
cool.
be terrifying to have fly over your head. It's a reminder that even the comic relief of the apes could scramble your face if they really wanted to.
I mean,
but I think nature knew it animated Slenderman
any of
Shadow a
them
little
can.
too well, because it went ahead
Any
and
of
gave him the
them.
most unserious vocal stim you've ever heard.
The fact that nature gave it to him, and then they gave him an amplifier as well. They did the double whammy here on this poor guy.
This is a northern white-cheeked gibbon, which definitely, for sure, is not venom, no matter how
Look
hard you
at
try to perceive
them!
otherwise. And in case you're curious, the babies are all
You-
born white. After about a year or two,
You
they
just
turn
ran up
black.
and
The males
smacked.
stay that way, but the females eventually revert back to their cream colorway, proving the once widely accepted scientific theory wrong.
That's cool.
You can go back. This is a Skywalker gibbon, and yes, it was
Oh, look at
discovered in 2017 by a
him.
group of scientists who apparently love Star Wars that much. The namesake of Luke was found
Wait,
in Myanmar,
discovered?
Southeast Asia, and it's believed there's less than 200 of them.
Hey,
but they're not as
yo.
bad as the Hainan gibbon, which isn't just the rarest ape, but one of the mammals closest to getting discontinued, with less than 40 of them. Crazy thing is, it used to be worse. They went from a couple thousand in the 1950s to where you could count on both hands how many were left by the 70s. again, we got the Hulot gibbon.
That's sad.
I like their face. The silvery gibbon. I like their hair. Good thing they max out at 2
Look
feet.
at
Anytime we be
them!
having Yeti conversations. And lastly, the pileated gibbon, because in my opinion, they have the coolest call.
All right. Oh, that is cool.
Now, at this
Nah,
point,
that
you might
is
be wondering,
cool.
why do gibbons call at all?
So the funniest animal on earth is the gibbons as a whole.
Second thing they're known for. The reason for it, well,
I can't believe that they have an amplifier for
gibbons,
it.
Nah, they mark territory off straight. It's actually the same reason male lions roar, to tell outsiders that they best keep it that way. Except gibbons will often do it as a duet, and sometimes they'll get the kids involved and make it a family matter. And they'll usually do it in the crotch of dawn, and if you live next to a zoo with gibbons, you've definitely heard it. And remember, they're territorial, so if you hoot back at them, you might just end up going band for band with a broadcasting tree siren. Hey, yeah, post-production cashier, don't do that. Not only will you offend them, it's like showing teeth to a gorilla, but gibbons are capable of doing something about it. In 2011, a gibbon escaped a Malaysian zoo after being taunted and severely mauled a child. And while I will spare you all the details, I will say his mom had to carry pieces of his thigh in a plastic bag. The odds are low, but they're not zero. So yeah, best keep the singing to the gibbons. It's a big deal for them. They spent actual years of their lives perfecting it. It's very much giving albatross marriage dance. In some species, Mama Gibbon will help her daughters practice with their version of singing lessons where the daughter tries to match her mother's pitch. For male gibbons, they learn by imitating the male figures around them. After years in the lab, they're able to come together and make the sound you've heard in every movie's jungle scene ever. There's something about the fact that males and females spend years perfecting their.
That's how I know this sound, because it's in every movie ever. Oh my god. I was like, why does this sound familiar? But that makes so much more sense.
Come together, the songs just fit each other perfectly. These duets become a verbal vow renewal as the songs help reinforce their pair bond. And that's the third thing gibbons are known for. They're the only apes that are monogamous. Can you imagine a gibbon?
They're the only apes monogamous.
And just making it work? No other ape, not gorillas, chimps, definitely not bonobos. And you know most humans ain't about that. Entanglements be damned. Except, yeah, about that. So the whole monogamy thing came from researchers watching a group and witnessing a couple only getting active with each other. Except what they didn't realize was by being around these gibbons constantly, the gibbons eventually got used to the people and would get way closer than they usually would. The problem is the other gibbons that weren't as chill with humans would see this and treat the human habituated gibbons like the plague and avoid them at all costs. Honestly, good for them. But if gibbons do mess around on their partners, the researchers basically block them from doing it. Also, any cheater can look loyal for the weeks or months the researchers spent watching them. So Ryan Palombit decided to study a gibbon family for 6 years, and this time, instead of habituating themselves to just one pair, pretty much all the groups in the area were habituated, meaning they could truly study gibbon free will. And when I tell you it was Real Housewives of Indonesia out there, I'm gonna tell you a story, but it will get messy, so I'm gonna need you to lock in or you will get lost. So it starts with 2 gibbon families. Each one had a subadult, basically a teenager, and one had a teenage male and the other a teenage girl. And we're still talking about gibbons. Both teenagers left their respective families, got together, and found a new territory to live in. And that's when stuff got weird. Because the teenage guy gibbon also had 2 younger juvenile brothers, and for reasons beyond me, they moved in with Big Bro and his girl. To Palombit, that was already cause to pause, but it got wicked once the adult male from the female gibbon's original group, i.e. her father, disappeared. Because apparently a parent in past tense is a canon event. Well, with a sudden power vacuum, guess who filled in? Yeah, the same subadult male along with his baby brothers all moved into the female's group, and the teenager took his girl's dad's place. He then just moved back and forth between the 2 spots, meaning Mans was monkey branching from his original girl to her mother. And in what's a lot more common than you might think, the mother and daughter had serious beef, and when things finally got too hot and the male had to pick a side, he chose the mother and fully moved in. The mom would have the baby that was likely fathered by her daughter's ex. As for the subadult daughter, that was the last time Palombit saw her. If there's a moral in this story, one way or another, gibbons gonna find a way to swing. There was also that time one in the Fukushima Zoo in Nagasaki.
It kind of makes sense though, because I guess since they grew up together, like there was the familiarity there. Holy moly, that was such a big word for me this morning. Oh my gosh. But that was there for him.
The 12-year-old Momo got pregnant while being housed with exactly 0 men. They thought it was an immaculate conception. Folks thought she spawned Gibbon Jesus, until they did a DNA test and found the father was 34-year-old Ito, who thankfully was also a gibbon. They still had no idea how they did the do, until they found a 9mm hole in a steel plate between enclosures. That's 9mm. He really wanted that glory. The whole time we call them lesser when really we're not that much better than gibbons. I don't care what the literature says, they're great to me. Especially since we've probably done gibbons dirtier than any other ape. Remember Kalia? Well, not only did she lose her family, but after a kid taunted her with a slingshot and she finally bit back, the boy's father came after her with a shovel and she lost her life. This kind of thing actually happens a lot to gibbons. Not only do they get their homes knocked down and trees removed, a lot of times they get reduced to pets.
This is too sad for me now.
Every gibbon is flirting with extinction. In fact, some like the hyena might as well be
I don't think
I don't like ending the video like this,
but I feel like
gibbons being so overlooked makes it that much easier for the atrocities against them to get buried. And if we don't lock in and spread the word, nature's one-man comedy special will be canceled in our lifetime.
We should not have a
gibbon
on a collar and leash.
Backstory. At the end of the day, gibbons prove that you might not be a great ape, but you're still a great ape. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, support your local gibbons, and one last thing to take home. But this is important. Always remember to
them. That was iconic. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching the video with me. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And I will catch you guys all on the flip side. Goodbye, goodbye. And if you made it to the end of the video, comment down a monkey emoji. Goodbye.